Hey, this is Toxic Mike, owner of Toxic Radio and host of Deviant Gamer.
Hey, I'm the Fishman, general manager and program director for Toxic Radio and host of the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
We want to take a moment to wish you a kick-ass Christmas and say thanks for rocking out with us here at Toxic Radio. We hope you enjoy the content that we deliver on a daily basis and look forward to supplying your metal needs in the rockin' new year.
Hey, be sure to check out the Toxic Shop for awesome Christmas gift ideas featuring Deviant Gamer, the Heavy Metal Happy Hour, Red Band Underground, and Toxic Radio. Thank you again for your continued support, and as always, remember, don't play it safe,
Play it toxic.
While you're rocking with us at Toxic Radio, don't forget to check us out on social media.
I want details, and I want them right now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Now you're talking, brother.
Chat with us, keep up on news. Just don't make it weird. Don't be a stalker. Don't be that guy.
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Toxic Radio. Get infected.
The legend, Bill Shallcross, Shally, Scholastic Shally, whatever you want to call him. What's happening? To my left, I have somebody new here in this show. You know, College Catrell is down sipping mimosas, so I got Bill Brancato as a guest host on the show.
What's up?
What's happening, Bill? How you feeling?
Good. Glad to be here.
Nice. We got an action-packed show today. Today we're going to be raffling off the Xbox. We have it in studio. We want to be delivering it hopefully tomorrow. We got a lot to go over NFL. We're going to go over NFL games of the week last week. We're going to preview this week. We also have awesome segment going to NCAA, talking about your favorite bowl game, which I can't wait to do that. And then we're going to wrap it up with NBA because NBA is huge right now. NBA just started. We had 2 great games last night. Sixers are on right now, so I appreciate you listening to us right now. And we're also going to raffle off that Xbox. I know a lot of people are listening for that. We're going to do that at 9:30. But to start the show, we're going to start with NFL again. That's been the big hit. We're going to start off with the Chiefs Saints, the game of the week. Kind of went as we expected when we talked about on the show with the Chiefs winning the game but not winning convincingly. I mean, I think that Bill had it convincingly. But a lot of us covered with that 2.5. A lot of late money went on New Orleans. If you didn't, you pushed. That's fine. But the Chiefs look like the way better team. Am I correct, Bill?
Yeah, I think so. I think from start to finish, they were the better team. I think there was a couple. I think they were up at 14 at one point, up by 10 at another point. New Orleans just kind of kept crawling back into the game. Again, on a neutral field, and Michael Thomas back into that. I would love to see that game again. There's a good chance we might see it again in the Super Bowl. I just think Kansas City is they're so dynamic on offense. You're just not. I don't care how good your defense is. You just can't play man to man with them for a whole game. He's going to pick his spots. He's going to put points on the board. They're hard to keep up with. Like they're that good. They're that efficient on offense right now.
Something needs to be said though about the Kansas City Chiefs constantly not covering, and like that. That's a kind of like one of those things like Miami backdoored them. They didn't cover versus Denver. They look like they were dominant, and they're not putting teams away. They're not dominating teams. And a stat that was really interesting that was brought up was the Chiefs have 6 wins this year by 6 points or less, which is the most in the NFL. I guess you can give a testament to the fact that they're winning a lot of close games, but a lot of these games, they're 7, 8, 9, 10-point favorites and 14-point favorites, yet they're letting teams hang around.
I think majority of those games are on the road. I think a lot of it is teams scoring. They might be up 10, teams score a touchdown with like a minute to go. They're not really in any danger of losing the game per se. I mean, They don't care about spreads though. I mean, they care about W's and that's it. I mean,
I just don't think they're looking completely dominant. Bill, I'm gonna come to you for a minute. Billy B. We'll go Scholastic Shally and Billy B. I'm gonna come to you for a minute and ask you about it. But the only point I'll bring up is if you remember last year when they played the Titans at Tennessee, they let Tennessee hang around in that game, and then a block field goal happened, and Tennessee came back, won that game by 10 points. What are your thoughts on the Chiefs so far this year? What are your thoughts on the game, Billy?
So the Chiefs just find a way to win no matter what. If they're not able to get Tyreek Hill the ball, they're flipping the ball to Kelsey for a 1-yard touchdown. Mahomes is scrambling, finding time. That touchdown to Hardman in the back corner of the end zone was sick. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was, in my opinion, because there was 3 or 4 balls that Breeze threw that the defense dropped. There could have been more picks. And Breeze looked, I mean, he just came back. He was rusty. He actually, there's a one stat I found. His longest completion in the past 3 seasons was that bomb to Sanders. It was like 51 yards or something like that. But other than that, I mean, it slants to Michael Thomas, and he didn't have Thomas, so he had no help there.
Breeze definitely didn't look good in the game. No. And I'll be clear, he started 0 for 6, which is the worst start of his career.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's he probably played a week ahead of where he should have. I think he was medically cleared, and they shot him up with some good stuff before the game, and he wanted to go out and play because of who it was. I don't think if they were playing Kansas City Sunday, or if they were playing Tampa Bay or sorry, not Tampa Bay. If they were playing like Atlanta or Carolina or somebody like that, I don't think he plays Sunday. I definitely think that weighed into the decision for him to suit up and go. But again, I mean, it's he got better as the game went on. I think especially if you're a quarterback, like playing at that in-game speed like that, you relate a lot to like hockey. Those guys, like there's practice speed and there's game speed. I think once you get into a game, it takes a while to catch back up and really, get your timing back and so forth and so on. And Mike not having Mike Thomas hurts. I mean, he's a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, it's
it could have been a preview of the Super Bowl. The one thing I will say is I think we'll find out a lot if the Chiefs are not in trouble. Obviously, I feel like that they're the class of the AFC, and I feel like it's been very clear that Buffalo is now that 1B. Or maybe 2. But I think we'll find out a lot this week. They play a home game versus a 4-10 Atlanta team. So if they don't put them away, then we can kind of rejoin this conversation next week and kind of see if the Kansas City Chiefs are really just letting their foot off the gas or just not 100%, not clicking on all cylinders.
I think the one thing, and slightly why I'd rather see in Green Bay versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl is I think you'll get a really true gauge on that if they play a team that can score as fast as they can. New Orleans, that stat Billy just said, for better or worse, like they're more of a, I don't want to say plotting, but they're not going to score on 2 or 3 plays and go down the field and score. Green Bay can do that. Rodgers can hit Adams for 50 and then 2 plays later in the end zone. Like they have the most explosive offense in the league, I would say, outside of Kansas City.
Yeah.
To see them on a neutral field, playing against a team that is going to constantly put up points. And again, if Kansas City has a weakness, it's their defense. So to see Rodgers against that team, I think it would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see a team actually put a lot of pressure on them for 60 minutes. And see how they respond.
So my response to that, and I actually loved Green Bay versus Kansas City is my Super Bowl prediction also. My response to that would be I don't think if Green Bay plays Kansas City, it'll be that type of game. I think what Rodgers is going to do is limit Mahomes. I think he's going to limit his possessions. I think he's going to slow the game down. I think you'll see a lot of Aaron Rodgers holding the ball to 1 second left on the play clock every time, using every piece of and limiting those possessions and trying to be perfect to control the game, which, if that game happens, the over-under is going to be really high based on the 2 teams' offenses. And I really would love the under in that game just because I think a team like Green Bay is going to do everything they can to limit the possessions of Kansas City. Billy B., what do you think?
About Green Bay, Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, just as a whole.
Well, if you get Green Bay, Kansas City, you also have to bring up the fact that, now Hilaire's out. Hilaire's hurt. They say he's going to miss a few weeks. I mean, obviously, if it comes down to a Super Bowl situation, he should be back by then. But that just brings up how big of a pickup Le'Veon Bell's been. I mean, he looked good this past week.
He did. Bill?
I think they already said, because I'm pretty sure if Kansas City wins this week, they clinch one, so that'll clinch the bye for them. I think they already said Hilaire's done for the year, like for the regular season. So I think they plan on resting him this week, next week, and the bye week. So I don't think you're going to see him. And again, having Le'Veon Bell is a huge, a nice huge pillow to fall back onto. So
yeah, not a bad backup.
No, so I don't think they're going to miss a beat. Probably take some stuff out of their playbook that they can run, like kind of like the more like spread speed stuff they run with Hilaire. They're not going to run that with Bell.
I've watched the Chiefs all year, and I will say this: I get it. Le'Veon Bell is getting older in his career, and he's a good backup. I've clearly see a difference when Le'Veon Bell's in the game versus Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire looks quicker, looks stronger, looks like the better overall back by a lot, in my opinion.
They are. I mean, they're different backs, though. I mean, they're going to run Bell more between the tackles, which they don't do with Hilaire all the time. They're going to run different sets. I mean, but again, that's what coaches do. So, I mean, it's Bell. Andy Reid's not going to sit there and throw toss sweeps to Bell all day. That's not what he's built for.
Speaking of good coaches, we actually watched two really bad losses this past week, and I kind of want to get your opinion on what loss might have been worse. The Jets lost to the 0-12, or 0-13, 0-12.
The Rams lost.
Or the Rams lost to the 0-12 Jets. The Steelers lost at a division rival with their third-string quarterback now they're 3-10, the 2-10 Cincinnati Bengals. I'm interested to hear, Billy B, give me what you thought was the worst loss of the two and why.
Absolutely the Steelers game, because now it opens up the Browns, and then Baltimore's still alive in that division race. With all the Steelers having all the injuries they have, you would have liked to take what should have been an easier game and give yourself more cushion in the division. That way you can, get that lead. You're not getting the 1 seed. So if you can just get the division sealed up, start resting some of your starters. Obviously, the ones you have still healthy, but you're going to rest that TJ Watt. That way you're not getting because you already lost to Pre, and that was a huge loss. And you want to rest some of these guys. That way you're not losing them for the playoff push. But I mean, to give up 17 points off the turnover, that's bad. That's real bad.
Cincinnati came to play that game. But what's your thoughts?
I actually lean the other way. I think the Rams losing to the Jets is inexcusable.
Okay.
I was texting you during this game, and it was typically that Goff did not play well. But again, they got out of what they do well. And that was, we've talked about it on the show before. It was a McVay trying to do stuff that team doesn't do well. And I just don't, it happens all the time. I know I've talked about it a couple times. I know you have. They are they're Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, they play 2 or 3 games and you're like that team can make the championship game. That team can possibly make the Super Bowl. And then come out and play like that against the Jets, and it's just it's terrible. They got outplayed. I lean that way slightly only because Cincinnati-Pittsburgh is a division game. Like you said, they did come to play. Even with a third-string quarterback, Cincinnati's talent level is way above New York's. And the Rams are playing to in theory, if they would have won last week and they win this Sunday, they could have locked up the division. That would have been it.
So you made my point. You're starting my point.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very, 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 very hard to defend a loss at home to an 0-12 Jets team that seems like they've been tanking all year, trying to tank for Trevor. It's really hard to fight the other side. I'm going to do it, though. The Cincinnati Bengals beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers' loss is way bigger. And I'll tell you why. The Rams have the opportunity to grab a stranglehold of that division again this Sunday. So, put it to you this way, ready? If the Steelers win that game, the division's locked up. It doesn't matter at this point. They're going to be the 3 seed. The division's locked up. They got a home playoff game. That's that. If the Rams win the Jets game, it doesn't matter if they don't beat Seattle this week, because Seattle would regain the division anyway off that win over the Rams. So I think the Rams game was so much more of a trap like a look-ahead game for the Rams. And I think the Steelers game was just more of a fact that they are on a tailspin. Like a lot of people called them frauds earlier in the season, and I don't really think they were frauds. I don't. I want to defend them in a sense that the injuries make them look like frauds. They weren't frauds when they had Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt coming off both ends of the line. They weren't frauds when their defense was showing up every first half and dominating teams. Where you can say they're frauds is because they got injured. They got hurt. They've had so many injuries at the linebacker position. With Bud Dupree going out, that's huge. Now, we talked about last week, they're doubling T.J. Watt on every single play. He's becoming less and less of an impact each play. I think the Steelers' loss is worse because now you have to beat a hungry Indianapolis team fighting for a playoff spot this week. And if you don't, you're playing Week 17 for the division versus the Browns, who've been rolling, which is why I believe the Steelers' loss is worse. The Rams can fix theirs. The Rams can fix their loss right now. You go out this Sunday, go to Seattle, and you win the football game. It's fixed.
It's fixed. I mean, but it was still a way more feasible situation because I believe the last week of the season, I believe Seattle has Arizona, and I think the Rams and the Rams have San Francisco. So if you win last week, you can almost afford a loss to Seattle this week, and then you still have a very good shot of still winning the division. I mean, they're going to beat San Francisco, and then you just have to hope Arizona beats Seattle. I don't think there's. I mean, I think it's very feasible. Steelers lose this week, and I have no confidence they're going to Cleveland in 2 weeks and winning that football game either.
So that'll be 5 straight back into the playoffs.
They'll finish 11-5, losing their last 5.
Wow, that's a wild run.
And have to go on the road at that point then.
Yes.
Most likely.
Yes. No. They would be.
They're on the road because Cleveland will win the division.
Unless Cleveland loses the Jets this week. It's the only way.
I don't think Cleveland's going to do that.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like they can win the division. Catrell hopped in. College Catrell still listening to the show. He said Steelers can fix it too. They win the division with a win versus the Colts. I just feel like I agree with you, Catrell. That makes perfect sense. But the person that Seattle is playing is the Rams, and that's the team they're fighting for with the division. It would be like one of those things if the Steelers were playing the Browns this week for the division. I feel like the winner of the game this Sunday in Seattle wins that division. I think that's my point there. Any other points on those two games? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts looked amazing versus Arizona. I don't know if you're all going to agree with me or not, but I thought Jalen Hurts looked great for a second game as a rookie quarterback. I think that the offense was a little bit better designed this week. I got to give Doug credit. I felt like people were schemed open this week. I'm not. Guys, I have never, ever will sit on this show and stay so stubborn on a point to where I don't admit when things are being fixed and changed. I think Jalen's put a spark in this Philadelphia Eagles team. I think they look a lot better offensively. It doesn't change my point. And I'm going to get this is my one Carson line in the game. It doesn't change my point that I believe that Carson was mismanaged. And I believe that in the right system, Carson will shine and become MVP caliber Carson that he was before. So we can talk about, and the last thing I'll say with Jalen Hurts, well, until I lead to you guys, is Jalen Hurts looked great. The offense looked decent. They lost the football game. And they basically lost the division unless Carolina pulls an upset at Washington this week. It's, we can talk about it all we want, but a loss is a loss. I mean, right. If Carson Wentz had that game, we wouldn't be talking about a moral victory. Am I right?
Nope.
Okay. Your thoughts?
I'm not going to say he looked amazing. I think he played well. I think he played well enough to win. I think if you look at the game from an unbiased.
1 second. Bob Louderback came in on the wire line, and I want to comment on this. He said, "How is the O-line suddenly blocking now?" And they're not. They're not. You're not. Bob, I don't know what you're watching. Matt Pryor looked like he should be playing high school football, not college. High school football.
I think he gave up 4 sacks on there? Yeah. Something like that?
The O-line is still not blocking. They still look awful. And to be clear, the reason that the O-line, I guess, looks better is because Hurts is running and scrambling. It's very evident if you watch it. He's scrambling. It's first read and go. Sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I mean, everything you said is true. I mean, don't let the fact of Jalen Hurts running every other play take away from the fact they're still not blocking anybody.
Correct.
he's just not standing in the pocket trying to go through his progression, like you said. And, to a fault, that's what Carson, I guess, was trying to do too much, even though they told him they didn't want him to run. I mean, but again, that's a different discussion for another day. I think he played well. I think he played well enough to win. I think if you take a step back and, look at the numbers, at an unbiased point of view, he barely completed 50% of his passes. Threw a couple really nice passes for touchdowns. But again, it's I'm kind of glad Bob said that, because if you look at what his averages are for the year, he's pretty much right around where Carson is, minus the running.
Yeah.
And that's why they're being successful, because he's running for his life. I don't think I think he's going to play well Sunday against Dallas, because their defense is terrible. And that's not a knock on him. I think what he's going to do is going to cause them fits, because they have nobody to tackle him. I would be curious to see what's going to happen last week. I would like to see how he's gonna stack up against that Washington defensive line, because they're only going to have to send 4 to get to him. They're not going to bring pressure unless they want to. But again, I mean, he's for his second start. I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. If anybody's watching the game and doesn't think that is a different offense than Carson ran for the first 12 weeks of the year, you're crazy. I think Miles Sanders, week 2 and 3 was in double-digit touches. He didn't have another double-digit touch game.
Last week?
Last 2 weeks he's been in double digits.
Yeah, he didn't have one since
the
Saints game.
It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence when you run the ball in the NFL that it makes everything else you do easier. I don't know where the call from that came down. I don't know if Doug finally understood it. I don't think that's it either. I think there's a lot going on just behind the scenes with people are now doing certain things to try to keep their jobs. Because listen, Laurie, the way I look at it, it's simple as this: Laurie is going to have to make a choice in the end of this offseason. He either keeps Howie. If you're keeping Howie, you're keeping Doug. That means Carson's gone. I don't see any way forward for all 3 of them to be here next year. If you decide to fire Howie and bring in another GM, I think I would say more probably than not, I would say Carson stays here. You might even see Hurts get traded at that point. I don't know if they'll do that.
I think that it's going to be an open quarterback competition next year, regardless of what happens. I think that if Carson loses the open quarterback competition, then he'll be traded. What do you think, Sal and Bob? Just kidding. What's up, Billy?
So Hurts played well. I mean, his running is going to definitely mask up all the inefficiencies of the offense. Alshon Jeffrey has signs of life now, apparently, because as long as Carson Wentz isn't throwing the ball, he can catch it. Quez Watkins, I mean, they tackle him there. Like, if they don't miss the tackle, it's not a touchdown, so it kind of inflated the stats a little bit. But, I mean, that's football. I mean, it's going to happen. You're a Hail Mary away from him being the hero of the week. If Dallas Goedert looks like he's paying attention on that last play of the game, he catches that ball. The ball gets knocked out of Fulgham's hands and drops what looks like 3 feet away from Goddard. I might have been able to dive and catch that ball, so why isn't Goddard looking for the ball?
Well, I think the bigger problem was Goddard missing the play before. That was right in the middle of his hands, and he let a cornerback knock it out. You can't do that as a tight end in the NFL. But God, I'm sorry.
I think Hurts, with these past 2 weeks, has already saved Doug's job. Because now Doug's playing the guy who runs his offense. He says that in all his press conferences. Anytime he doesn't have Carson Wentz playing, whether it was Nick, whether it's Hurts. Oh, he runs the offense. He runs the offense. He runs the offense. So how much of it is Carson's unwillingness to run a certain type of play? Is he changing the play? Or is Doug just not scheming certain things because he thinks Carson doesn't need that? I've been commenting on the wire line the past few weeks. In Hurts' first start, I think six plays in the first half, they had rollouts designed for him.
Yep.
The previous 4 games for Carson, I think they did 2, and there was 1, and it didn't come into the fourth quarter of the one game. And it's like, wow, why didn't we do this all game?
I mean, it's a good point. I mean,
He's got a good point.
It is. I mean, it's the funny thing is now you're seeing all the sports writers in the city being like, they've backed off Carson a little bit, but they're like, oh, well, as good as Hurts is playing and, the deficiencies that Carson had to deal with are still there. Well, yeah, no crap, they're still there. I mean, they're not going anywhere. That offensive line isn't going to wake up this Sunday and start blocking and run blocking and pass blocking so guys can sit in a pocket for 3 seconds to throw a football.
Yeah, Jeff Stoutland got on and sounded like petrified. Like sounded awful when they were talking about the offensive line and then the block.
Yeah, I mean it's and the other thing people aren't, again, I don't want to, kind of what Billy said, it's football. Like things happen within a football game. Arizona kept us in that game. I mean, it's they had a fumble going in at the 20. It was like a miscommunication. It was literally just a dropped football. Kyler threw that interception, I think, from like the 7, which was hysterical because with the stadium being so quiet, the second he threw it, he thought the guy was going to keep going, and it came out of his hands, and you could literally hear him on the mics like scream like no, and he threw it right to the secondary.
Yeah.
That game had every. If that game's a little bit cleaner, it's a 13 to 16 point loss instead of 7. I mean, I don't know how really close it was. And again, this isn't a Jalen Hurts thing. I don't know. I don't know how good either one of them are, or how good either one of them are going to be until you fix all the crap around them.
Yeah. So Jeff Perrone had a comment on the wire line a minute ago. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit further back, but he asked if it's Hurts running the system or Hurts running for his life and scrambling. It's Hurts scrambling.
It's the second one.
It's improvising.
It's 100%.
The quarterback is improvising. It's 100% that. Eagles Dallas is this week, and it's Cowboy week. And I'm going to go into this game like I said last week. It'd be a Christmas miracle if the Eagles won. This game's a little bit back and forth. I'm 50-50 on this. It's a coin flip game to me. Dallas is playing a lot better football. I hate Dallas. Dallas is playing a lot better football. Their defense is looking better since they made a ton of trades to cut Dontario Poe, trade Everson Griffin. They're looking better because they're running Michael Nolan's scheme finally. It's a coin flip game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think teams are going to score back and forth. I don't know, man. I really don't know. And to be clear, Washington wins, which they moved the game, Washington versus Carolina, at the same time because they didn't want the Eagles or the Cowboys to tank. But if Washington wins, I don't want Philadelphia to win that game. They're eliminated. I can't root for them to lose to the Cowboys, though. So, I don't know what it's one of those weird things. I want the Eagles always to beat the Cowboys. But it's just, what are your takes on the Eagles-Cowboys game?
I can't remember the last time I was this unexcited for a Cowboys-Eagles game.
Yep.
And that's from both sides. That's even if we're really good and they're having a bad year, I'm excited because I just want to see us kick the crap out of them. And then if it's vice versa, it's we're going to upset you guys and ruin your season.
We both suck.
Yeah, this is I'm obviously going to watch it, but I mean I'm going to watch it and just I know there's nothing coming out of it, and I think a big factor in that is going to depend on who plays for us defensively. I think if Slay comes back, I know Maddox is out for the year now. If Slay gets cleared, that's a big difference. If not, I don't know. I mean, it's
the defense didn't play good, but they played with heart again. Back-to-back weeks, they played really, really tough-nosed football. I love watching them get in people's face. Dude, I don't care about the personal fouls. I don't. Sorry, not right now.
I think they're playing with a different edge the last couple weeks.
Yes.
But again, I mean, Arizona, you take the 4 turnovers out of that game. I mean, that game's probably ugly. But again, it's part of football.
It is.
If you're going to hand the ball off and you're going to drop it, we're supposed to recover it. That's what we're supposed to do. They had the miscue in the end zone when the guy stopped running the route and Kyler threw the ball right to what's his face. I can't think of his name now. And then you had the young kid, like you said, running around the field. He forced 2 fumbles. I mean, it's I don't know.
So who wins? Silent Bob, who wins?
I think Eagles win.
Okay.
I think Eagles beat Dallas. I think it's a 2-possession game.
Oh, big game.
Just because, our defense is playing so it's a lot of young guys. I could only watch Jalen Mills throw an elbow at so many people before I lose my mind. So if they wrap up and they tackle, as long as one of them doesn't get hurdled by Zeke every other run, as long as he plays.
Zeke's fat ass ain't hurdling.
I actually think Zeke playing would actually be worse for the Eagles. Better for the Eagles.
He's playing.
Yeah,
that's my point. Pollard looked way better.
He's looked really explosive when he's gotten the
way
ball.
Better. That's a terrible contract. Worse and worse every day.
I think
they got to throw another one on top of it, so it's gonna be more fun. They give Dak 40.
He's not getting 40.
I think they really got to run the ball against them. Dallas ranks 32nd in run defense in terms of yards. I mean, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Sanders. This whole I need to stop seeing Boston Scott in the field. Sanders is your guy. Run him.
Can I ask why he's getting Andy Reid used to do this with McCoy?
Yep.
He would get to 18 carries and he'd be like, all right, no more. I'm is Sanders made out of porcelain? I don't understand.
It doesn't look like it.
No,
he
let
doesn't
him run
get
the
hurt every game.
ball. That's what I mean.
Yes, I agree.
I don't understand. This happens in the city all the time. McCoy would have 120 yards and a touchdown, 18 carries, and Andy Reid wouldn't put him in the game for 3 series. Why?
Dude, I
and we're doing the same thing with Sanders.
Completely agree with you.
I think they win though. I for some reason I think it should be a more comfortable win than it's probably going to end up being. I don't know why. It's just a typical Eagles-Dallas game.
Okay, my heart, Eagles. I want them to win. My brain, Cowboys by 6. I hate saying that out loud on the show. Dolphins-Raiders is the next game we're going to cover. We're going to do that before we do our, we're really close to the countdown for the Xbox.
Going to it now.
Dolphins-Raiders is the next game. This is a huge game for both teams. The Raiders lose, they're out. They're done. Both of us picked the Vegas Raiders to make the playoffs. The Dolphins need this game also. Their big win versus New England gave them a little bit of breathing room.
They have a little bit more leeway. They can lose and still get in.
But the Raiders are done.
Correct.
And they've looked terrible the last 3 weeks. They're going to go play at home, and they're going to play against that Miami defense. But I want to be clear, the Dolphins look way worse with Tua still. Then I feel like with Fitzpatrick, that team would have a shot at taking a run.
I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but they're a lot harder to defend on that side of the ball for sure. Again, Tua he's very limited in what they run. I mean, they're not operating out of a full playbook. And when you get into the playoffs, you're most likely going to face a team that plays, decent to pretty good defense, and they're going to force him. He's going to be limited with things he can do. My only concern with Miami is they are way different on the road than they are at home, and that's the only thing that worries me about going to Vegas. They laid that egg against Denver earlier in the year at Denver, and they have a really other bad away loss somewhere else too. I don't know. I like Miami in the game. I mean, Las Vegas' defense has just fallen apart the last 4 weeks.
I like Miami in the game because of Miami's defense.
Yeah.
And if I had to bet the game, I would bet the under.
Yeah, under's probably safe.
I don't think Tua's going to move the ball like that. I think Miami's defense is too good to get shredded.
Jacobs is still banged up too. He's not 100%.
Yes, he is.
Carr hasn't played bad. I mean, I think Waller's not going to have a huge game. I think they'll take him away to some degree. And like I said, Vegas' defense has just disappeared the last couple of weeks. They've gone from being kind of bend don't break to floodgates. So
yes, I agree.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I think if you're betting the game, you have to take Miami. I don't know how you would any confidence put money on Vegas.
No, not at all. Bill, what'd you think about the game?
I like Miami. I think I like him a lot more if Gesicki plays. Gesicki,
yeah, same.
He's completely game time from what I've read.
The Raiders' defense is just awful. I mean,
I still don't see Tua moving the ball like that versus them.
I think
I really don't.
I think they're just going to be able to run the ball at will against them. I know Gaskin's back.
Yeah.
They got the other guy.
Ahmed.
Ahmed looked good last week.
He does. He looks really good.
And Vegas is 2-5 in home games.
Oh, pulling out a stat. Look at Bill.
I know that.
Look at Bill with the stats.
Home games.
So you're all right. So what's your best bet for that game? Is it Miami? Is the over? Is the under? What do you like?
It's Miami minus the 2.5 at now. It's probably only going to get bigger.
Looks like that's one of his pick'ems.
It is.
Bill, what's your best bet for the game? Miami?
Yeah, I just think it's Miami outright.
My best bet for the game
is
the under. I still think Miami wins the game, but it is now 9:31, and I've been so excited. We got the Xbox drawing. Mike, do me a favor. Throw that up on the screen. All right, we got a prize wheel here. Now, what we did was, if you can scroll down slowly from the top, you see your name right there. It's all in alphabetical order, as many tickets as you bought. You can have full screen. Well, whatever. No. Stop that. All right, this does not count. This is not the spin. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. All right. So that's not the spin, okay? So
Can
Mike,
you move
hit
that?
the. You can't do that.
You move the monitor.
Yeah.
I can't see
no,
anything.
I can't.
Mike.
All right. So, Mike, when it's done, don't tell us who won because I don't want to know. That's just sickening what you just did right there. He's fired. Mike's fired from his own damn studio. All right, because we didn't shuffle it up, and we're going to shuffle it up. So, guys, I don't want anybody to know. I don't want to know. All right, we're going to open the wire lines. It's 856-485-9565. Mike, is it ready to get thrown back up on the screen? Okay, 1 second. Here is the Xbox. We got it right here. That's the terrible view right there. Right there.
Mike, can you come move this monitor?
Everybody wants to see this. All right, so you want to see that monitor?
Yeah, it's usually flipped in so like I can at least like read the wire.
No one really wants you. Okay, I'm just kidding. You should see your names on the right side under sort. That's good. You should see your name. If you can slowly scroll down the right side so everybody sees their name for the tickets they bought. This is the most important thing to me, guys. I want this to be fair. I want you to understand that, you know, everybody's tickets been. I thank you so much for the support you guys have given to the show. Everybody's name's on there for how many tickets that you bought in alphabetical order. If you scroll down, you can see that. Okay, that's basically the bottom. We got everybody there. Now, Bill, pick a number 1 to 10.
2.
Okay, shuffle it 8 times. Do me 8 times. Hit shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's gonna spin
7,
it for a minute.
8, 9, 10. All right, here we go. This is going to be the spin. This is going to be the spin for the Xbox. Are you guys ready at home? Spin it. And he takes the music off for me. It's okay. Here we go. I can't. There we go. There's it going. Dude, I did spend so much time getting this everything like trying to line up. Mike screwed up on me. Here we go. We got a winner coming. Jeff Judge, Tim Todd, Cavassini, Lafferty, Laura, Calb, Steele. Is it Steele or Calb? It's Justin Calb. Hold on. It might go to Tim Todd. It's still moving.
There you go.
Justin Calb is the winner. Call the line 856-485-9565. 856-485-9565. Give us a call, Justin.
Until 9:50.
We're gonna give him his. Yes, that's fine. He'll call.
You have 3 minutes. Call.
Call now.
Congratulations and thank you guys, everybody, for tuning into the wire line, for donating to the raffle and for playing for the raffle. And congratulations to Justin. I'm really happy for everybody out there, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done. We're gonna get back to the show, but Merry Christmas to everybody. And that made me really happy. So as soon as I see Justin calling on the wire line, I will. I'll patch him through, and I'm super happy for him. Let's get the next recap game. Colts Steelers. It's kind of weird to get back into a game after that. Colts Steelers. This is a game that's really important for both teams. Colts are in a tie in the division right now, and the Steelers need to win this game to lock up the division. So the game versus Cleveland is not for the division, because they don't want that at Cleveland. Yeah, you don't want that noise.
No. I don't think anybody can have any confidence if next week matters for the division that Pittsburgh's going into Cleveland and winning that football game. It does matter a lot. I mean, again, if Pittsburgh wins, they can pretty much rest everybody next week and have a pseudo bye week because the game means nothing. Indy's has a look, in the back of their head can at least know that Tennessee's probably going to go to Green Bay and lose. So they would go into week 17 at worst case, tied for the division still. But with the way Pittsburgh's looking, again, like Indianapolis would not be the team I want to see coming to town trying to figure out my offense. They have a very good defense. They rush the passer very well. And they're gonna move the ball. I mean, they have a very pro style offense. They're gonna run. They do play action. They'll take the shots.
Pro style offense in the pros.
No, I mean No, I mean, but he is. I mean, listen, Philip Rivers cannot. He's not moving. He is 3 steps. Ball's gone. They run a lot of play action. They still have a very good running game with Jonathan Taylor. You know, that's gonna be a tough game. I mean, again, I can't imagine. You know, I keep hearing these reports like, oh, the Steelers fans or the Steelers players are pissed off. I mean, well, why does it take 3 losses to get pissed off? Were you not pissed off last week? You know, I'm not buying into that. And, you know,
hang on one second. We got the caller on the line.
Cool.
Hang on one second. Is this Justin?
This is him.
Justin, you're on the wire line. Congratulations. You are the winner of an Xbox X Series. You got a couple games with it.
Let's go, baby.
I just wanted to.
I'm hyped.
I'm glad that you called in. Congratulations, Justin, man. Thank you so much for the support on the show. I constantly see you viewing us, even though I know you're streaming your own thing.
Thank you.
Congratulations, buddy. I'll deliver it to you myself. Thanks, man. Anybody else have a comment for him?
No, dude. Again, I appreciate the support and you know, congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, it's.
Thank you.
Probably about the best surprise
Appreciate
you
guys.
Get 2 weeks.
He's
2
a
days
huge
before
gamer,
Christmas.
dude. He streams.
Oh, I'm real hyped.
Call of Duty streamer,
hyped,
everything.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Famous Gaming. Check him out.
Then he just
upgraded.
He just upgraded big time.
All right, Justin. We'll reach out to you. Thanks you so
guys.
much. Have a great day. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Justin Cow, man. Wow. But let's get back to the game. I'm sorry.
No, that's what. I don't know where Pittsburgh goes. I mean, their defense is going to be their defense. We've already talked about that, you know, ad nauseum about the injuries, and it matters. Don't get me wrong. The more concerning thing for me is their offense.
So you got the Colts?
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
Bill, what you got?
I think the Colts win this. I mean, it does seem like one of those games where Rivers could come out and throw the ball just to the Steelers, but they're going to probably run the ball a lot. All 3 of those running backs are running well, catching passes out of the backfield. And Phillip Rivers remembered that he has T.Y. Hilton the past few weeks, so he's actually playing well as well. I mean, they have Minka to probably take over Hilton, so then you still got Pittman and Pascal. I just don't see how the Steelers are going to get right here.
I got news for you. This wasn't one of my pick'ems, but it was really close to being one.
What is the over-under on this?
I don't know. I'll look it up in a second. But this wasn't one of my pick'ems, but this is a game I like. And Steeler Nation, listen carefully.
45.
I like the Steelers, and I like the under. And I think that Phillip Rivers is going to get slaughtered. Standstill quarterback's going to get slaughtered. I think the Pittsburgh defense shows up angry, shows up loud. It's their at home. It's their get-right game. They've been on the road the last few weeks. They lost to Washington home. Then they had to go to Buffalo and Cincinnati. They're coming back home. I think they get right. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers win the game, and I like it being low scoring. I think Phil Rivers is going to get lit up. So, Steelers Nation, pay attention.
It's 45.
I like the Steelers. I like the under, too.
It's off under. I mean, that's like 27-20, anything like that's going to go over.
17-6.
Oof.
Steelers.
I mean, okay. That's good.
17-6 Steelers. Be bold, baby. Be yourself. Believe in yourself.
Also just got the alert that the Sixers actually came back and won.
Let's go, Sixers. 10-9-8.
113-107.
I didn't cover, though. Next game on the agenda, Rams at Seahawks. I'm going to abstain from this because this is one of my picks. So I'm going to start with Silent Bob. I'm kidding. I'm going to start with Billy B. Go ahead, brother.
No.
I like Silent Bob.
It all depends on which Rams team you get. Are you going to get the one that just lost to the Jets, has lost to a Dolphins team that, really wasn't playing that well at the time? Or are you going to get Goff actually, throwing the ball to his receivers, Robert Woods get going, Cooper Kupp. They have the running backs. They have 3 of them. I think Akers is questionable.
He is, but I think he's going to play.
Honestly, I don't think he's going to play.
I think he is.
I think they said he's trending towards doubtful.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that.
Regardless.
I don't think that matters in the
3
grand scheme of the game either. No.
I mean, the Seahawks defense is really that bad. But on the other hand, Russell Wilson has been mediocre the past few weeks. Well, maybe I'm underrating him because the beginning of the season he was throwing like 4 or 5 touchdowns a game and he looked like that MVP candidate. Now he just looks like he's out there, just kind of playing the game a little.
To be fair to that, to your point right there, Russell Wilson has played the number 1 defense in football in Washington last week. He destroyed the Jets, which I get it. The Jets are bad. Yeah. The game you really look back at, that he really didn't play well was the Giants game. He played awful in that game. But, I mean, there's been games here and there, like the Buffalo game or at L.A., but, like, he also played really well in the Arizona game when they played Arizona in Seattle. I don't think he's been playing that bad.
I mean, he played great against us either.
No.
He didn't. You're right. He didn't play great.
I think it's going to come down to whichever quarterback doesn't turn the ball over because, I mean, they both have 16, 17 turnovers this season each. I mean, whoever doesn't turn the ball over, whoever turns the ball over at least among those two, they're winning the game.
Who's your pick?
I got the Rams.
Okay.
I'm picking this for Pick'em too, so I don't know if you want to wait.
We'll skip it then.
Okay.
We're going to break it down Pick'em.
Okay.
Next game on the agenda is Titans at Packers. Titans at Packers. Big game. It's at Lambeau Field. I think that the Titans at Packers is a good football game, and I want to be very clear when I say this. I think the Packers look so good the first half of that game versus Carolina, and then didn't score in the second half. 3 points. The Titans have put up unbelievable amounts of points weekly. They had another big week with Tannehill. I wish I would have started him in fantasy. I would have won one of my leagues. I benched him for.
I started him.
I don't know what the fantasy playoffs are.
Yeah. So, hey, listen. But my point being is, I'm sorry, CJ.
There it is.
CJ,
go away, CJ. Go away.
Not getting love on the wire line. CJ, I appreciate your comments, man. Thank you, man. We're trying to catch up. We're a little behind right now. We got a lot to get into. I apologize about that. But in the game, I like the Packers in the football game. I think the Packers win the game. I think it's going to be very close. I think it'll be high scoring. The over-under is 56. That tells you what you need to know. I think it's going to be really close to the over-under. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think the Packers pull it out. I think it's an Aaron Rodgers last second drive, get him in field goal range, and that's that. Your thoughts?
I'm picking this, so
we got 2
Pick'em,
picks.
so
How about you, my friend?
So I have the over-under pick on this, but I'll still talk about it.
Let's go.
Can the Packers stop Derrick Henry? But on the other hand, can the Titans stop Devontae Adams? Both teams are averaging, Titans are averaging 31.1 points a game. That's tied for first in the NFL. Packers are averaging 31 points. I mean, you're going to get a high scoring game. Both defenses, I think, are going to have trouble with each other all day. It's going to be who makes the play on defense and who has the ball last.
Can I tell you what I would do if I was the Green Bay Packers? And I feel like the Packers are going to do this. This is why I don't think it's going to be that high-scoring game, and I would kind of tilt under, but whatever. We'll get into that in a minute. If I'm the Packers, I'm playing cover zero. I love talking about cover zero. I talk about cover zero every week. But I'm playing cover zero and having their corners play one-on-one with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. They have Jair Alexander, Kevin King. They're both very good cover corners. I'm having them play man-to-man versus Davis and A.J. Brown. And I'm loading that box, man. I'm loading that box to stop Derrick Henry. And I think that creates somewhat of a low-scoring game. If you go into what the Titans are good at and what the Packers are good at, the Titans are very good at stopping the run and playing zone defense for pass defense. What they're not good at is getting pressure on the quarterback. Whereas I think you're going to see Aaron Rodgers dinking and dunking 6-7 yards, moving the chains down the field. I think it's going to be long, short drives for Green Bay. And I think what you're going to see from Tennessee is a lot of 3-and-outs and a couple big plays. And I think the big plays will come from the cover zero, not having a safety over top. I actually think it's going to be a very close game. If I had to pick the game, I would go 28-27 Packers.
So no cover.
Listen, that's where I would have it.
Yeah.
Really close to the over-under, really close football game. I think that would be the final score of the game. That's just my 2 cents. You're picking it, so let's get it.
Yeah,
we're at Pick'em right now. So do you want to start with yours? Or you want to start with Silent Bob?
Let Billy go.
Silent Bob, Billy, let's go.
All right, so we touched on all my picks actually.
Yeah.
Love the Dolphins minus the 2.5 in Vegas. Got the Eagles minus the 2.5 in Dallas. Again, I think that's a 2-possession game. It could happen late, like the Eagles score a late field goal, late touchdown to go up like 9-10 points. And I got the Packers-Titans over. I think that both of those defenses are going to struggle all day. If they do lock up man-to-man on A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, I think where both of those corners are good corners, I think they're going to struggle with A.J. Brown. He's a monster.
Jair Alexander is the most underrated cornerback in the NFL, in my opinion. Just to be clear.
He's up there.
Bill, what are your three? They're good picks, by the way. I'm scared of the 2.5s. If you've listened to the show, you know my rule on the 2.5s. But God,
Gene hates them. My first pick, I'm taking the Rams plus 1.5. I think they win the game outright. I think the worst thing that could have happened to Seattle actually was the Rams losing last week. I think they're going to go in there. To touch on your point earlier, what you said about Seattle, I think teams have figured out a little bit how to take DK away over the top, and that's made a big difference for that offense. He wants to run 15-yard dig routes. They're going to give him that. They're not going to give him the 70-yard bombs anymore.
Well, you know what happened last time Jalen played against him.
Yeah,
Jalen shut him down 3 for 53.
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be it's going to be interesting. Seattle struggled running the ball last couple weeks too. So I mean I think that's going to be a big part of the game. And then again, Russell's going to have to deal with that defensive line. So I would assume Donald and the boys come out very hungry after last week.
Donald and the boys.
After getting embarrassed, by the Jets, I think the Rams. I'll take the 1.5 all day, but I think they win the game outright.
Okay.
Second pick, I'm taking the Washington football team before I call them the Redskins. At home, minus 2.5, minus the distraction of Dwayne Haskins this week. McLaurin's going to play. And the running back is on track to start too. So I mean, they're going to be at full strength offensively, other than Haskins playing over Smith.
It's not full strength.
Well, yeah,
that's a huge thing. Huge thing.
But I mean, they were in the game till the end last week.
They were. Their defense keeps them in every game,
and they do. And Carolina is not an offensive juggernaut by any sense of the word. So that's at home. They win that, and they win their final week. I mean, it's they beat us. That would they'll win the division. So I think it'll be.
They win that game. They don't need to beat us.
They don't. Do they beat the Giants twice?
The Giants beat them twice. The Giants lose this week versus the Ravens.
True. Yeah.
So that's the division done.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. I mean, I can't see them beating with as hot as Baltimore is right now. I mean, I can't see the Giants win that game. My last pick is the Green Bay game. I'm taking Green Bay minus 3.5. You kind of like highlighted a big part of the game. I think game flow is very important in that game. We've talked about it with Tennessee before. If you make Tennessee a pass-first team, they are not comfortable doing that. They're a lot better at it now than they used to be. But if Aaron can get up, 2 possessions in that game, I do think you'll see a lot of, hey, we're going to run a lot of Jones. We're going to run the play clock down to 2 or 3 and snap the ball. They're going to limit Tennessee possessions, and then when you do that, you can't. You can't run Derrick Henry up and down the field. You just don't have time to do it. Okay. They do have the secondary. Again, it's hard with the NFL with any good receiver. They're going to get away. They're going to get open eventually. AJ Brown is a monster. Green Bay has 2 very good corners though. So I mean, they're going to make their plays. But I think Green Bay is going to get enough stops to win that game, and I think they cover. I wouldn't even be surprised if it ends up being like a 7 or 9 point game.
Okay. I have some ugly picks. My ugly picks are over-unders. I'm sorry. I have 2 of them this week. I really want you guys to win betters. I'll go with the sexy one first. I got the Rams straight up. And whatever. I don't want the 1.5. Give me money line. Rams are winning the football game. I like the Rams this week, and I like another bet in that Rams game. Give me the over 47.5 in the Rams Seahawks game. I think that Russell Wilson's going to figure out that he's got to throw the ball to Lockett instead of DK. I think that DK is going to have one really big play on Jalen Ramsey, which is going, and I think that the Rams are going to move the ball against that Seattle secondary all day. If I had to predict the game, I'd probably say it could be somewhere around the area 41-34. High scoring game. Yeah. I really like that game. I really like the Rams, and I like the Rams winning in a high scoring game. So there are 2 of my picks. And the third pick is probably the one I'm most comfortable with. I love the under in Browns Jets. I do. The Jets, say what you want about the Jets. The Jets have played good defensively for 3 straight weeks.
They play good defensively pretty much.
The Seattle game, they look bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but every unit's going to have that. I mean, the defense by far is the strength of that team. if they weren't on the field for 75% of every game, their numbers probably be even better.
You're probably right. I think that the Browns offense is good, not great. I think that, you had those couple 30-point games that they had that might have fooled you into believing that offense is great. It's not. I think it's good. I think the Jets offense is not that good. No. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. If I had to predict the score on it, maybe 23-10 Browns. Something of that nature. I love the under in that game. They're my 3 picks. That's NFL Pick'em. Yeah, we got to move on, dude. It's 9:52. Like, I'm feeling great right now, though, guys. We're going to college football. College football is loaded with all the bowl games have been loaded. Obviously, the top 4 has been exactly what we predicted all year. The Wire2Wire guys, if you would have predicted our top 4, I mean, we had it by week 2. After we realized Oregon wasn't going to play enough games, they didn't look really that good. After we realized that Cincinnati wasn't going to get in based on the fact that the committee doesn't like any small schools, we've had this nailed for 5 weeks. All right, so what is your argument for A&M? I can make an argument for A&M. I'm a salesperson. I could sell for A&M. I don't believe they should be in, but I could sell for A&M. What are your thoughts on the selection committee? What's your argument for A&M? And I'm going to go to Scholastic Shally.
Your argument is you won 7 straight games in the SEC. I mean, that's pretty much your only argument. Your argument is your only loss is Alabama. The counter argument to that is, okay, you lost by 28 or 27, whatever the hell it was the first time, and you don't want to rematch that game. I've heard people say, well, that was week 3. It was, they're playing better now, and that's fine. I'll give you that all day. But in the same token, Alabama's playing better now than they were in week 3. I don't think the outcome of that game is going to be much different. I'm by no means saying that Notre Dame is going to be in that football game because I don't believe they will. But if you're going based upon what the criteria was, for the committee and how they're supposed to choose teams, especially in a year like this, they got it right. I mean, those top 4 is what it should be.
I agree, and I think the opening spread in the Notre Dame game scares a lot of people off because it's 19.5. I'm going to make my argument for A&M. A&M fans out there, I know I have a few of them. Kidding. But I'm going to make your argument for A&M. Jalen Waddle played the first game, who's probably Alabama's best receiver, and the other one might win the Heisman. Jalen Waddle played the first game for Alabama. It was week 3. They won the game by 28 points, which, by the way, it sounds silly, but that's one of Alabama's lightest wins this year. They've beaten a lot of teams up pretty bad.
It was a 3-point game and a half.
It was. A&M has played good football, and if you had to make an argument, a 28-point loss at Alabama is not as bad as a loss as a 21, should have been 28-point loss on a neutral site versus Clemson. If you have Alabama as the number 1 team in the country, I watched the A&M game versus Alabama, and I watched the Clemson game versus Notre Dame. The A&M game was close at halftime. Notre Dame got the doors blown off them by Clemson.
I disagree with that a little bit.
They didn't get the doors blown off them?
You have the missed field goal at the beginning. You have the 4th down they went for that they didn't get. If either one of those things changed, it's a 14-6 game or possibly 14-9 or if they just punt. Or there was a lot of things that Notre Dame did at the beginning of the game that put themselves in a deeper hole than they really needed to be.
Okay.
If I don't know. A&M's other biggest issue is your best win then becomes Florida, which is a 3-loss team.
Yeah, but Florida's a 3-loss team. They played Bama to a 6-point game. That's a good loss. That's a quality loss.
If they didn't shit the bed against LSU, right. Texas A&M probably gets in. That probably sealed Texas A&M's chances of getting into the playoff.
If Florida beats,
if Florida is a 1-loss team and then they play that same game against Alabama and lose by 6, that strengthens Texas A&M's argument.
You're absolutely correct.
Big time.
I agree with you 100%.
It becomes a lot harder to put Notre Dame in at that point. But when you lose to a terrible LSU team, that kind of really sunk them.
Which I just think that when looking at these football teams, I think that the top 4 should be the 4 that are in there. I tried making an argument for A&M and just giving them their side of the story, but I'd rather see Notre Dame play Bama in a game that I didn't get to see this year than see Bama beat a team they already beat by 28 and play them again.
I've been saying this all week since it came out. I don't think it matters who you put there, and I mean that anybody else. The only team that I think gives Alabama a game is Clemson, and I think you're going to get in the championship game.
I got news for you. I think the first half line's 10. Bet Notre Dame plus 10 first half. They're not gonna come out laying egg early. They might eventually, like the Alabama train might steamroll them, but the first half line in that game is speaking to me. It's like speaking to me.
I'm not going out on that limb with you this time.
I will. So you don't need to. I'm bold, baby.
I think both games are not going to be close. I think they got it right.
Both won't be close.
No.
Catrell got something to say about that next week.
Sally wants.
We'll talk.
We will talk. I mean, it's going to be money where your mouth is now.
Bill, I know you're not a huge college football guy. Do you have any thoughts on any of this?
I mean, it's kind of the top 4 who I think we all expected to be there. One thing I will say is that I think Notre Dame is a fraud, as always. But
he comments that every week, by the way.
Every week.
I love it.
I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, if you look at the stat from their last 6 New Year's Day bowl games, they've been outscored like 141 to like 27 or some insane number.
North Dakota State didn't play this year, Jeff, on the wireline. They played one game to showcase their quarterback.
Barring Clemson being in the 4 seed, again, I don't think it matters, and that includes Ohio State. I think Bama would have rolled whoever we would have put in there, and
that's fair.
And I think if you look at body of work, for better or worse, how we all think that game is going to go and the outcome of it, it's probably not going to be a close game. Notre Dame deserves the shot to go play it.
CJ said he wants to see Cincinnati on the wireline.
So do I.
So that's fine. We can all want to see Cincinnati get the doors kicked out of them. Guys, I don't mean to be rude when I say this. I don't, because I love the small school and I love the fact that they're undefeated and what they did. I think the 7.5 line versus a dog shit Georgia team tells you what you need to hear. I'm sorry.
I mean, Georgia's not dog shit.
I mean, they played bad this year.
Nothing
to their expectations.
You're wrong. You have to go back, look at their last 4 weeks when they finally switched quarterbacks. They're a different team. He hung in with that walk on probably a game too long in the Florida game. That kid's not playing anymore. They've been a different team since that Florida game. I'm curious to see how they stack up though. My biggest thing is I want to see Cincinnati, because you can't tell teams to go do X, Y, and Z, and then teams go do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't reward them, and then you make exceptions to X, Y, and Z to put somebody else in. So that is, I think the hypocrisy of it all is what bothers a lot of people.
Dante came in on the wire line. He asked a question. He said, "Do you think anybody could do what Brian Kelly's doing at Notre Dame, or to be doing it better?"
I talk about this a lot, and people don't like to hear it, but I'm going to bring up somebody else along with him. You have to. Kelly gets a break a little bit because except for this year, he plays an independent schedule. He has to contractually play, I believe, 4 ACC games or 5. It's one or the other. Because that matters for like all the other sports and so forth and so on. But that being said, they're not getting Clemson every year. They're not getting Miami every year. I mean, there's years they haven't played either one of them. And
yeah, but he's talking about this year.
What I'm saying is Brian Kelly's job is harder than a lot of other coaches in the country because of who he can recruit and who he cannot recruit. And I've said this before, and I'll say it on record again. If you take the Stanfords of the world, the Michigans, the Notre Dames, those type of schools, and you let them recruit the type of student athletes that go to Alabama, that go to Florida, to go to other, not highly regarded academic schools like that, you would have a completely different landscape in college football. You have to remember, if you're, back with the old SAT scores, if you didn't score 1450, I don't care how good you are at football, you're not going to Notre Dame. You're not going to Michigan. You have to meet a very significant higher level of academic standards to get into those schools.
So basically, you're saying that no,
Brian Kelly. Here again, this is he gets an advantage because it's easier for him to get to that position because he's not playing the same schedule every year. When you put him on the big stage against an Alabama, against a Clemson that can go recruit those five-star kids that are not the sharpest, knives in the drawer, that's where that stuff gets exposed.
Okay. The question was about Brian Kelly's coaching, and I think Brian Kelly does a great job coaching non-5-star prospects every year.
Agree. I'm sticking up for him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's doing more. He's doing more with less than he is. Than Nick Saban having 18 5-star kids sign off and then doing the BS he does behind the scenes, gray shirting kids. I mean, it's not a big secret. I mean, look at this week. You have 3 SEC schools get popped with recruiting violations this week. I hate to say it, but you've had Harbaugh, Ryan Day, Brian Kelly, and a couple other big name coaches on record saying, if we did the BS crap that the SEC does, we would get bigger players.
I mean, the SEC is the NFL minor league,
right? But you had
the NBA D League.
You had Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia all get popped this week for doing illegal things, recruiting.
Tennessee has some real balls to do some illegal stuff and be that bad, dude. If I'm going to do illegal shit, I'm going to be good. Tennessee can't be that bad and getting caught with recruiting violations.
Actually, it might have. No, it wasn't.
Can't be Tennessee.
No, it was LSU. Sorry.
Oh, that's fair. That makes sense.
The 1 year, the gracious 1 year bowl ban they imposed on themselves.
Oh God, that was
So
that was almost you got to be kidding me. That was terrible.
All things considered, yes, he does a very good job with what he does. It's going to take a very weird year for him to beat any of those teams, and that goes for anybody.
What's your favorite bowl game?
I'm Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I want to see the Georgia Cincinnati. The other game I want to watch is because there's another undefeated, mid-major, if you will, non-Power 5.
Coastal.
The Cure Bowl, Coastal versus Liberty. I think that's going to be a great game.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Liberty is a very, very good offense. I think it's going to be, that's going to be a fun game to watch. If you're sitting around and you have nothing
when
to do.
When is it? Help me out.
I'll find out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Billy can talk. I'll look it up.
Bill, do you have a favorite bowl game?
Not really. I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah, you're a sports fanatic.
Very much a casual, if to even say that, college football fan. I'll definitely be watching the 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, if I flip and there's a game on, I'm going to watch it.
I love that. I have one. It's Florida versus Oklahoma. Which really sucks with Kyle Pitts. If you don't know, Kyle Pitts bailed out of the game and it's going right to the NFL draft. I get it. These kids get put through a lot. But I would love to see the game a lot more if it was Florida versus Oklahoma, like fully matched. But I want to see Trask versus Spencer Rattler. I want to see Lincoln Riley and see what they divulge. I think it's going to be a fun, high-scoring game. It's going to produce a lot of points, and I'd like to see what an SEC versus a Big 12 team does. What the third best SEC team does versus the best Big 12 team. Because normally we watch the best Big 12 team get their ass handed to them by Alabama every year. So now we get to watch the third best SEC team and kind of see how that matches up.
So I agree with you. That was one of the until Pitts opted out. That was one of the games that stuck out to me. I would have liked to have seen that game.
Spicy.
But the Liberty Coastal Carolina game is actually the day after Christmas, 7:30. So it's actually it's prime time on ESPN.
I'll take it.
So that is when that will be on.
Okay, so real quick, we're gonna wrap up in college football. One more segment. We're gonna talk about the Heisman because the nominees will come out this week. Who do you think is winning the Heisman? I mean, do you think the Final Four are solidified?
My Final Four now are Devonta Smith, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, and I think Lawrence is going to be the fourth one.
I agree, 100%. Who would be the fighter for the fourth? I don't understand that.
I think you could still probably make a case for Wilson.
Yeah, okay, Wilson, that makes sense.
And again, they do.
BYU played really good the other night.
Yeah, he had a monster game.
But that doesn't count towards the Heisman, right? The votes are already in because their bowl game played and the other ones.
I don't think they voted yet. I think they usually vote. I think your votes have to be in by.
Wouldn't that be unfair though? Because like BYU played a bowl game and the other two didn't.
Maybe. I think everything's messed up this year because of the way the dates are. Because usually you have to remember the Heisman's usually awarded like January 5th, like somewhere around there, because the playoffs are usually another 2 weeks out from there. There's usually a month layoff for the teams in the playoffs, and you don't have that this year. So
you watched that Florida-Alabama game just like I did?
Yeah.
Did it not look like Kyle Trask was the better quarterback than Mac Jones?
I think Kyle Trask had to play catch up, and I think if you look at their numbers,
their numbers were almost identical. That's not. I was like eye testing.
Again,
I just think the ball comes out of Kyle's hand way better.
I would agree with you. He might have better arm talent. I think if you're looking at other things,
obviously Mac's way more athletic.
Yeah, I said it before. I think you're splitting hairs. I'm just saying I've said it, on record before. I don't think Mac Jones is your typical Alabama quarterback.
You're right. Well, I feel like he's very much like Tua.
I think he's a better quarterback than Tua.
I agree with you.
I think he's definitely a better thrower of the ball.
But I also said that Tua was going to be a bust, and I didn't think that he should go top 10. I said that very clear.
I'm with you on both of those.
So who do you think wins the Heisman? Are you going to go with the betting favorite? Like, I don't think he should win.
Who's the betting favorite? I haven't looked at
DeVonta Smith.
Minus 180.
What?
Minus 180, DeVonta Smith.
And then, what's Mac?
Plus Mac, 150.
155, 150.
Yeah.
So they're close.
My man's ready.
So they're close. I think the only thing you have to worry about is those two splitting votes, which I think is going to happen.
Who votes, by the way? You're a lot better this time.
It's a bunch. There is an actual. I think if you're a past winner, you have a vote. There's people.
So why would they split votes? Because like Alabama fans,
you have people in the media that vote, and then there's writers that are part of. It's kind of like the Hall of Fame. Like if you're like an approved writer, you have a vote. So it's. I think if you're looking at Alabama, I think there's people that are going to say DeVonta Smith made Mac Jones better. There's going to be people that are going to say Mac Jones made. It's the chicken before the egg thing. I just think you're going to have people that 6 weeks ago all would have voted for Mac, and I think some of them are going to vote for DeVonta Smith now.
Okay.
And if that happens to a big enough level, you might have Trevor backdoor it. I don't know.
No.
Plus 1,600. Get in.
That's crazy.
I'm still sticking with Mac.
Silly sauce. It's funny. I'm picking Mac, even though I feel like that. Obviously, he's not the best quarterback in the country, but yeah, I'm picking Mac at this point. I've finally come around. I'm picking Mac to win. I think he should win at this point.
It's crazy. I feel
like if Kyle doesn't lose that LSU game,
it's a way different conversation. I agree. And he didn't play well in that game.
No, he didn't.
When do they vote? Do they vote after
they're voting,
the playoff game?
I think they're voting right now.
Okay.
I think I do agree with you 100% on that. I think if because I said for weeks, and you've even agreed with this, I thought it was going to come down to the SEC championship game and who played better.
But Kyle played better.
Numbers wise, I mean,
probably put 48 points up versus Alabama.
And you act like Florida stinks.
Florida's defense is not.
He put up 50. He was damn near flawless.
So
dude.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
He had like 8 incompletions the whole night.
So what do you think was more impressive this past week? I'm going to give you a comparison because I'm nuts. Jalen Hurts' performance or Kyler Murray's when they played each other? Who played better?
Hurts played better.
Okay, Hurts lost.
Yeah, but Murray had a
play better.
Murray had a fumble and an interception.
Trask play better.
They both played flawless in the Florida-Alabama game. Mac Jones didn't turn the ball over. That's a big difference.
I get it. That's fair. I just think Trask played better.
And
I think Trask putting up 48 versus Alabama is more impressive than Mac putting up 54 versus Florida. Who else has put 48 versus Alabama?
Who else has put up 50 on Florida?
I mean, 50, yeah, I guess I get it. But no one's been close to 48.
You're talking about over 50, actually.
No one's been close to 48 versus Alabama.
You want me to look at all Florida scores?
Yeah, there are a lot of high-scoring games.
Not in the 50s.
They let up 30 a lot. How many times did Alabama let up 30 this year?
Probably 3 or 4.
No. Once. Look it up.
I mean, how many A&M? I mean, A&M was up.
A&M scored 24.
I thought it was higher than
that. 28. 52,
I would say it was 28.
Yeah, it was 28.
Listen,
my point being is...
Here's the thing. The other thing I'm going to argue, too, is everybody looked at how amazing Burrow was last year.
Yeah.
QBR, efficiency, and everything. Mac Jones is better. He beat Burrow, some of Burrow's records already. I mean,
Mac Jones is not better than Burrow.
I'm not saying he's better. I'm saying
now he might be off the knee
on a college level. It's hard to ignore that stuff.
Okay. Any comments on Heisman, Bill? I don't want to
No, not really. I was about to say the only other team that scored over 30 points against Alabama was the Old Miss.
What was it, 65-30?
63-48.
Yeah. 48?
48.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, because that was Lane Kiffin going back.
Oh, well, maybe Nick let him score a few. So, buddy.
That was.
I'm kidding.
No. I mean, it was a decent game. Ole Miss just. I mean, again, they just went up and down the field at will, though. Ole Miss is.
Well, I gotta get that's credit. I didn't think anybody scored 40 or something. No, anybody else score 30?
The next highest was 24, and that happened twice. And it was A&M and I forget the other team.
That's what I thought. So let's move on to NBA. I can't wait to talk about NBA. Guys, I watched both those games last night. I was so excited NBA's back. I'm a huge NBA fan. I cannot wait to get more and more into this. Last night we had Clippers versus Lakers. We had KD's return versus Golden State, which, by the way, I wish we got to talk about this last week because my bold prediction doesn't sound very bold anymore. My bold prediction for the NBA season was Golden State misses the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to even sniff the 8th seed. And I've said that before, and I haven't got a chance to get on record. Golden State doesn't make the playoffs, guys. That's my prediction for the year. I love the West, how deep the West is. I don't think Golden State makes it. That doesn't sound very bold after they got the shit kicked out of them last night. But what were your thoughts on? Let's start with that game. What were your thoughts on that game?
I disagree with you.
You're supposed to disagree. It's bold prediction.
They missed a lot of open shots. I think Wiseman looked a lot better than I thought he was going to for the first game.
In garbage time.
I mean, he played well all game.
He played really well in the fourth.
KD and Kyrie, they didn't miss all night. And you don't have Draymond Green there.
Which matters because Draymond would probably be sticking KD.
Yeah. And they missed. Listen, they had opportunities. I mean, you can say what you want. Wiggins was terrible. But he had open look.
Let me just help you out. Wiggins is terrible.
Listen, I think he's gonna have a better year than people think.
Okay.
He's just not gonna have much of the spotlight on him.
Kelly Oubre becomes the better player than Wiggins this year.
But he had a terrible game as well.
I agree.
I'm saying they had every opportunity to be in that game. I don't think that's indicative of what they're going to be all year. I think it's week one. They're all the way across the country. It's opening night, dude. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of stock in anything that happened last night for anybody.
That's fair.
It's game one of what's going to be a weird year coming off short rest for a lot of these people.
Yes.
And it's Steph's first game back. I think they made the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to be a 5 seed, but they're going to make the playoffs.
Bill, what was your thoughts on the game?
I know they're missing Clay, but as a team, they only shot 30% from 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Steph was, 2 of 10?
They're not going to do that all year.
He's going to get better. I mean, obviously, he's coming back from the injury. You just got to the team has to find a way to replace Clay's production. And who steps up? It's not going to be Wiggins, but somebody's got to step up and fill that role. And like you said, it's probably going to be Oubre if anyone on the team is going to be that guy. And they will look better with Draymond back. Draymond lost a ton of weight in the offseason. Got to be feeling better. He's going to be moving up and down the court better. So the only thing he might lose is that little bit of strength and the size that he had because he was a bigger guy. But I mean, I think they make the playoffs. Probably like a 7 or 8 seed. But I think they find a way to get in.
Okay, I don't. When I watched that game, I watched a Golden State team that's going to struggle to score all year, and they better shoot the lights out to win big games. And they're not. And I feel like Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins are not Klay Thompson. Of course they're not. But my point being is, I don't see like Draymond Green's not going to add that shooting presence. Like I shoot better than Draymond Green. I do. I will go corner 3 with him all day. I'm telling you right now, I shoot better than him. But my point being is, they're not going to shoot the lights out this year. They're not. You guys can laugh. I love it. But they're not going to shoot the lights out all year. And I think that a lot of teams are going to really hone in on Steph and make him shoot a lot of. And I think he's going to have his games where he's hot. Yeah. And I think they'll hover around 500. I just don't think they're a playoff team. 10 seed, not even 9th. 10 seed.
No way.
Okay. Well, we'll see, I guess. Let's move on. Lakers Clippers.
I'm
not overreacting about the Lakers game, by the way, but I will say this. I'm gonna start this one. I'm not overreacting about the Lakers game, but I hated what they did in the offseason. Everyone loved what they did. I love what they did with getting Montrezl Harrell. I love Trez. I love the addition of Trez. Marcus Saul looks so slow, so old. I would love to see his plus minus from last night. It's got to be minus 20.
Yeah, he aged a lot over the offseason.
It's just different offense.
Yeah, I mean
I think the offense aged him.
Yeah,
it's like Toronto doesn't play that.
No, they play a much more straightforward. Yeah, half court set type stuff. I'm with you. I think Trez again. I think we talked about it on the show. I think that was probably the biggest, impact signing. Not only did you add him, but you're taking him away from
the Clippers. Yeah,
the Clippers, who everybody assumes is your toughest foe. So
I think Nicholas Batum helps them, though, man.
Yeah,
the Clippers. Like
he looked good.
Switch on all 5 positions.
They are very. If there is one thing the Clippers are, they're very versatile. They're very flexible. They can do a lot of different things that teams can't. They can go small but still kind of play big. They don't have to be like super small in their lineup. But I mean, I mentioned it last night on the page too. Anytime somebody's doing a banner thing or a ring thing or anything like that, I just don't. I don't bet teams that are doing that. It's always a distraction. I don't care what you say. You're getting a $40,000 ring before the game, and there's just so much going on. I don't think, I just don't think the Lakers look good. But again, I'm not going to overreact and say they're not going to be there at the end.
They will.
Yeah, they will.
I just don't think they get the 1 seed. I said that before. I don't think they get it.
But if they're the 2 seed, and I'm assuming you're saying the Clippers are the 1.
No, I'm not. I don't know enough to tell you like the Clippers will be the 1 seed.
But if I guess my question would be, if it's not them, who do you think has a chance to be the 1?
I love tryhards in the regular season with the 1 seed, and I think that like there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be tryhards. So like the Clippers would be a tryhard this year because they got embarrassed last year. I think if you watch that first quarter, now yes, the Clippers really let the Lakers back in the game, and it looked like they had a lid on the goddamn hoop in the second quarter.
And they made everything in the first quarter.
But I'm talking about the turnovers. I'm talking about the defense. I'm talking about the switches. All right, so we took 2 players from the Raptors and we moved 1 to each LA team. Remember, Marcus Morris didn't play last night.
Mm-hmm.
We took 2 players from the Raptors and we moved 1 to each team. Serge Ibaka is a huge upgrade for the Clippers to be able to switch at all positions and play defense. They kept trying to switch Kawhi off LeBron. They were basically running pick to have LeBron go against Serge. Yeah. And Serge's length makes LeBron try to shoot over him. And I feel like that's the way you got to go. You got to make LeBron shoot over you. His body type is too strong to drive the hole, and LeBron didn't drive that much early. And I think their defense looks so good when they're on that the more and more they play together, and like, dude, Patrick Bev was so annoying to play offense against.
He's not a guy you want to go play against every night. No way.
Yo, Marcus Morris didn't play last night. Nicholas Batum didn't look great outside the first quarter. Lou Williams didn't look great. Like that team is so. So if I had to give you an answer, I would say the Clippers, but it could be a lot of teams. It could be Dallas. Dallas is going to be a try-hard team this year.
Dallas ain't getting the 1 seed. They're not deep enough to do that. And if you were going to say the Clippers, I was on board with that. I wouldn't disagree with you. It's when you said that you don't know if it's going to be them. That's what gave me pause.
It's just 1 game, so I want to see more. The Clippers are my team. I think that's going to. All right, so I'll say the Clippers. I'll give that right now. It's just 1 game. I don't want to overreact, but my point being is, I think that they defend so well when they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they looked unbeatable in that first quarter.
I guess I asked you that because I was getting at. I mean, if the Lakers are 2, and then again you're assuming that the Clippers are 1, it's really not that big of a disadvantage.
What if the Lakers are 3 or 4?
Then it matters. Because they're gonna have to travel. But I'm saying if they end up 1,
Staples Center,
they're all sleeping at home. They're not traveling at all. I mean, that kind of takes the advantage out of being a 1 versus a 2. You would need them to fall somewhere else and actually have to travel somewhere.
Super fair.
So that's the only reason I was bringing it up.
I think Dallas will finish very high in the playoffs here because I feel like they're a very try-hard team. And I think if Porzingis comes back before January 12th to 15th, right around there, Like, he's already traveling with the team. If Porzingis plays, man, that team's going to be good regular season-wise.
Yeah, I mean,
Luka takes another step, too.
Yeah, I mean, Luka. I don't know how you can't say he's not the most exciting guy in the league to watch.
So much fun to watch.
He's quickly getting into like the Steph territory with me. Like, I would get home from wherever, and if Golden State was on at 10:30, like I would watch that game. I would watch it just to watch Steph and Clay and just watch them bomb. They're just so fun to watch.
I got news for you. Right now, Luka's better than Steph. Right now, and he's still ascending. Right now, Luka's better than Steph. I love Steph, dude. I'm a big Steph fan. Right now, Luka's better.
That's really close. It's really close. There's definitely. Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument for sure. Yeah. I think they both do some things better than the other one.
Yeah, well, Steph clearly shoots better than Luka, but Luka gets his own shot way better than Steph. Luka gets to the hole way better than Steph. Luka passes the ball way better than Steph.
I don't think it's way better.
Maybe not way better.
Steph's actually a very underrated passer.
He's a good passer. I love his little stylish passes.
Luka's definitely better at driving to the hole, but I don't think it's that much either. Steph goes to the hole a lot. I think the biggest disparity is probably in shooting.
Luka can shoot.
He could shoot, but
he's not Steph.
He's not Steph. Steph's, when it's all said and done, is probably gonna be the best shooter in the history of the NBA.
Ever.
So I mean,
although, pre-injury, and obviously we can't do this now, and I don't know what he's gonna look like at post-injury. If we're taking 100 shots in the gym, I'm taking Clay over him every single time.
Just like messing around.
Yeah, 100 shots, straight 100 shots.
You're putting your life on that?
Clay over, yes.
I'm not.
Clay's the cleanest shot, man.
You're talking that's probably decided by a shot or two. I'm not sitting there trying to watch that go down.
Yeah. Bill, come on, give me some comments. I know you're an NBA guy.
You brought up the whole the two players from the Raptors going separate teams, how good Ibaka was defensively and how bad Marc Gasol was. Yeah. Both -8.
Okay. I like the plus-minus look up, though.
I think the only person worse on the Lakers last night was Anthony Davis at -16, but he's also out there with, Kawhi and Paul George are out there.
Anthony Davis is overrated.
Whoa. Well, overrated if they have him, too. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's over. I think he's a very good player. How about this, right?
He's a very good player.
By the end of this year, he's going to be better than Bron on his own team. Period.
I disagree.
Okay. I'm bold, baby.
Because Bron, bold doesn't mean right, though.
It's right. It'll be right.
That's called a hot take.
I love hot takes.
Bron.
Pancakes, too, bro.
Bron takes so much off of AD's plate. It's, you saw it last year when Bron was hurt. Like, they struggled mightily because Anthony Davis had to shoulder that whole thing. And I'll say what I said before, dude. I mean, he hasn't done shit until he got to LA. And he won one with Bron. That doesn't impress me. It doesn't.
That's fair. Any other comments on Lakers Clippers?
I didn't catch the whole game. The part of the game I did watch, you said Marc Gasol looked old. Bron looked kind of old when I was watching. I mean,
his shots were short.
Short shots, kind of slow up and down the court. There was a sequence where Paul George came down, hit a three. Bron comes down, rims it. And Paul George comes right back down and nails another one. Paul George looked good.
Paul George is back with his old trainer.
Yeah, well, that makes sense then.
He's back with his old trainer. He looks really good. I just think
I don't problem Paul George. He just disappears in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's mental.
I don't care who the hell's training him. He don't show up when it matters.
I
want to like Paul George.
The last time he showed up when it matters was when he played LeBron with Indiana.
Yeah, in Cleveland. Yeah,
I agree. That's how I got the name playoff bid.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
Yeah, like 10 years ago, maybe more.
Exactly. I have no problem with Paul George. I was excited when he went there because, anything that makes LeBron's life harder is good in my book. But
just for fun and shits and giggles, just because we have a lot of Philadelphia listeners out there, let's do a 76ers prediction for the season and what seed they'll finish.
Okay.
So, Bill, why don't you start?
I got them finishing around 40-32, 72-game season. It all really depends on what you get out of Harris. You paid him all that money. It's starting to look more and more like a mistake. I didn't see what he did tonight. Didn't see the points. Didn't watch the game.
It was a mistake. I said it before they made the damn trade. It was a mistake.
You're not going to find anyone to take that contract. What did you have to ship out a first-round pick to get rid of Horford?
Yeah.
To get rid of him, you're going to have to send 3 to get him out of here. I would like to see him play well. I mean, he's back under Doc. Hopefully, Doc can use him the proper way.
It's funny, his best season under Doc.
Yeah,
So that's a really good point.
It's hard to say what happened tonight, but you need Simmons to start taking those mid-range shots. Otherwise, they're just going to sag back like everyone's always done. Make him drive the lane against a stacked lane. I think you're going to see Embiid down low more, not playing that perimeter three.
Please.
I just want to see him post up and dominate people. Just be a big man.
So just to be clear, this is the biggest problem when people are talking about Joel Embiid posting up. You know he led the league in post ups last year.
Did he?
Led the league.
Not by enough.
I guess it kind of gets overshadowed by the fact that it seemed like he was always hovering on the 3-point.
I got news for you. Brett Brown's offense was the reason he looks so
good. And I agree with that.
I think Doc will fix that. I really do.
I mean, by judging by tonight's box score, he already did. So, and you need just JoJo had a part in that. When JoJo got tired, JoJo stayed out there and chucked up threes.
That's fair.
But tonight he was 10 for 17 from the field.
1 for 2 from 3. Just guessing.
1 for 1.
Well, I didn't see it.
14 rebounds, 29 points.
29-14 is beautiful. That's what I want from Joel.
What about Toby?
But he should be able to do that every single night, and if he's playing down low, he will.
Yeah. What was Toby's stats?
Toby did not have a good night. 31 minutes,
Shocker.
3 for 13 from the field.
Jesus Christ.
0 for 4 from 3.
Stop shooting. He stinks.
8 rebounds.
Oh, he stinks.
No assist. He had 10 points.
All right, so give me your prediction on the Sixers season. What seed they finish? What seed do you have, Matt?
Like a 6 or a 7 seed. They're not doing anything.
You're wrong.
Ooh.
I love you. You're wrong.
That's fine.
I have them 47 and 25.
This is like opposite ends of the spectrum. This is beautiful.
I have 47-25. I have them in the 3 seed. I think
47 and 25 is the 3.
I think dude. Well, Milwaukee's going to win low 50s easy.
Easy.
Actually, I don't know who's winning that game tonight though.
They're playing Boston. They were winning when the show started.
They were.
Game's over.
They lost.
Did they?
122 to 121.
Wow.
I
Tatum hit the game winner. Just guessing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it later.
You looked all this shit up. Dude.
You do your thing.
I swear to God, I didn't.
Tatum hits. It says big 3. I don't know if he hit the buzzer.
I swear to God, I didn't. I've been on.
Go
the
ahead.
Show's been going on.
You can't look at your phone?
No, I've been on the camera the whole time.
Go ahead 3 with under a second to go.
I love it. See, I called it.
I still think over the course of a season, I think Boston's going to go a little bit backwards with what they lost. That Kemba thing is starting to look like that's just...
You say what they lost, you mean Gordon Hayward?
Yeah.
They're going to look better this year.
And I think they're going to trade Kemba. I think everything you're hearing out of there, neither one of those sides are happy. I don't think he's not a Brad Stevens type guy. He wants... he almost falls into like the Kyrie mold. He wants to dribble the ball for 15.
Closer to IT than Kyrie, in my opinion.
Yeah, but still in the same mold that isn't going to work with what Brad Stevens wants to do.
Okay. You'd rather have Marcus Smart over. Yeah,
correct. Yeah. If you're playing point guard for Brad Stevens, you need to be a team guy. And I don't know if you
said Giannis missed a game tying free throw.
Did it?
That's what just Johnny Bracero said on the wire line.
Oh, there you go. But I think Milwaukee wins over 50 games.
Who else? I guess you're saying Brooklyn's the second team.
I mean Brooklyn. I don't know where Miami's going to fall. I think from 2 down to 4, from the 2 seed to the 4 seed, I think it's really close. I think you have Brooklyn, us, and Miami, and Boston, kind of all in that. They're all fighting. I think at the end of the year, they're all going to be probably within 2 or 3 games.
I have them 43 and 29 in the 3 seed, maybe 4.
Yeah,
I have them 4 games less than you do. 14 games over. If I had to guess, I didn't look. I promise. I swear to God, I've been here the whole time. Can you tell me who won? I think Miami probably lost to Orlando. Orlando covered, really close. Just a guess. I swear to God.
No, they lost 113-107.
Who lost?
Magic or Heat lost.
Good call. I knew it was going to be a really bad night for the Heat. I felt it. Home, yeah, dude. They don't play well at Orlando. So the Sixers, in my opinion, go 3 seed, 3 or 4 seed, 43 and 29. That, however, does not change the fact that next week I will be giving my prediction, and we all give our prediction, on the NBA Finals, who we think is going to make the NBA Finals. So that leaves us with a beautiful Are You Kidding Me to end the night. Billy B, we're going to start with you, the guest of the show.
All right. So mine, it seems like a no-brainer. I'm sure you guys are going to have good ones. I think mine's way better. But anytime you're out there pre-game through walkthroughs when the other team ain't out there and you're doing TikTok dances and posting them online, you better expect to get lit up across the middle. So Juju Smith-Schuster.
I did it too early.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I just jumped right into it too fast. Yeah, Bill. Shally.
I'm going back to college football again. Touched on it a little bit earlier. I think if you're a big college football fan, I would advise you to go online and Google the Night Commission, because I think this is going to happen sooner than later. I wish the committee and just the NCAA in general will just come out and say, hey, we're doing this because we need to raise revenue this year because we haven't had fans in the seats and we want to put the big name programs on TV for the end of the year, but they won't do that. I think certain things that happen with the rankings and the way they justified certain things they're just disgusting to me. I'm by no means saying if Cincinnati was in the 4 seed they would, go beat Alabama or anything like that. But you need to start rewarding these mid-major teams. You can't give them a set criteria of what to do and then have them go do it and then be like, well, guess what? You're still not good enough. We're still going to take the team with the bigger reputation or the bigger fan base. And it doesn't matter because the playoff games, both those games are going to have fans. So they're selling tickets. I just think it's crazy if that's your argument. You can't tell me that if Cincinnati, made the 4 seed that their fans weren't going to travel to Dallas for that game.
It's a bad argument.
Yeah, it's a terrible argument. It's just silly. So the Night Commission pretty much recommends that pretty much everybody in the Power 5 for football to break away and start your own thing. I would love to see this happen because not only is it going to screw the big programs, it's going to screw the NCAA. Because what you're going to have is, instead of, say Clemson scheduling Cincinnati in a non-conference game, which boosts the resume, you're going to have to go play like Wisconsin now. Like, you're going to have to play that 3 times a year now, excuse me. And if you're telling me that at the end of the year you run your own separate playoff with, say if your Final Four is Cincinnati, BYU, and a couple other teams, you don't think people are going to watch that?
I will.
Exactly. Everybody's going to watch it. They're going to make their own money. So I hope they do it.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I hope they do it. Again, it's called the Night Commission. If you want to go read it, it's an interesting read. It's a recommendation from a bunch of consultants. So I think finally the commission is finally pissed enough people off that I think you're going to see some movement. So for that, I'm done with college football.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, so mine is really simple. Dwayne Haskins. I mean, it's very simple. We've talked about it earlier. How you have the captain jersey still being a backup, how they went back to you, Alex Smith's hurt, starting a football game, lost the football game, all the COVID restrictions that are going on in the NFL, games that have been canceled. Your team's in first place right now, and you're the starting quarterback right now because Alex Smith's hurt. And you get caught in a strip club without a mask on. Like, it's absolute joke, man. Like, this is why Dwayne Haskins, when I said this 2 years ago, when Daniel Jones was coming out and people laughed at the Giants for taking Daniel Jones, and I said he's going to be a better quarterback than Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, I said, was the bust of the year 2 years ago. I said Tua was this year. I'm normally spot on these. I've been wrong, but Dwayne Haskins just does not have the moral fiber, does not have the leadership abilities, and it's just he's an absolute joke to be doing what he's doing with a first-place football team that has the #1 defense in football. The only thing that's holding this team back is the fact that you're a first-round draft pick and suck. So Dwayne Haskins...
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
All right, so we're going to do a quick wrap-up of the show. Billy, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
You've been awesome. I appreciate what you've added. You've brought the notes, the stats. I love everything that you brought. Do you have any final words that you want to say?
I just want to reiterate that Notre Dame is a fraud. And, go Birds.
Shally.
I'll just, do my normal thing. I hope everybody, first off, we appreciate everybody that supported us from day one with this. We're 11 weeks in now. To be able to give back a little bit tonight was nice. I'm glad, a fan of the show, won the Xbox. But Christmas is in 2 days. Kind of echo what I said for Thanksgiving. Really appreciate what you have this year. It's going to be a different Christmas for a lot of people. Myself included. Take care of each other. Take care of your families. Enjoy all the time that you're spending with them. Really cherish the time when you're sitting down with dinner and the people that are surrounding you. It's we hear it all the time. And, don't take stuff for granted. Tomorrow's never promised, stuff like that. But it rings a lot more true this year in 2020. So I hope everybody has a great Christmas. I hope everybody stays healthy, has a great time. And I hope everybody gets to have a great time spending it with their families and their friends. So from my point of view, thank you for everything you guys have done in supporting the show. And we'll see you one more time before 2021.
That's a great lead into what I was going to cover. And, the Happy Holidays thing was amazing. And I really love what you said about cherish every moment with your family, because that's very important. And talking about support, I wanted to shout out to a new unisex salon over in Bristol Borough. Allen & Allen Hair Company. They're right off Bristol Road and Bath Road. I've known Michael Allen for a while. He's awesome. They specialize in a variety of cuts for men, women, kids. They do a lot of different things. They do cuts, color, eyebrow tinting, waxing. They're licensed professionals. They're 6 days a week for you. If you mention you heard about them from Wire2Wire, they'll give you $5 off your haircut. But before I talked about Allen & Allen, but I want to talk about how awesome Michael is. I got my haircut from him this morning. We had a great conversation about a lot of different things. Guy from Wisconsin, big Packers fan, but he's a great human being. He's, he donates to charity constantly. He's building his own brand. They're building their own brand, Allen & Allen. I'm sure, his partner is just as awesome as Mike is. But take it from me, man. If you want to talk to a great guy that will just basically give you more than a haircut, he'll give you great conversation and friendship. Go check them out. I mean, they're in Bristol. They're awesome people. And I wanted to give them a shout out on the show. Also, Merry Christmas to everybody. Shallcross, Catrell, listening at home, man. We missed you this week. Bill, you did such a great job stepping in.
No, we missed Catrell. We didn't like Billy.
Bro, Catrell, I love Catrell. But Bill, you did a great job stepping in.
Thank
and
you.
if anyone's ever missing, you'll be our first phone call. So I appreciate that. With all that being said, Merry Christmas, everybody. This is Wire2Wire, and we're signing out.